Welcome back again, guys. This is the fourth and final part to mine and Morgan's interview together, where we discuss so many Mormon topics. It has been so much fun. If you haven't seen part 1, 2, and 3, please go check those out. And we are excited that you're back for part 4. Would you say that finding out Mormonism was false was more painful and difficult for you, or was it more of a relief, or do you feel like it was both?
I would say that it was definitely more painful at first. I would say now that I'm getting, into this healing and everything, I'd say it's more of a relief now. Like feeling like, oh, I don't have to have all these unnecessary expectations. But initially, it was really, really hard because I feel like my whole life is a lie. Like, I feel like I don't know what to believe. And then I'm worried about the judgment of my family and my friends and my community, all my neighbors. And it's like, so there's so much that was like weighing on me that it was like, I would have rather it had been true, that I didn't want to deal with all of that. It was just easy to say, oh, I know all the answers. Like, I'm comfortable with all the answers. Like, I can have peace of mind. I know when someone dies, what's going to happen. Da, da, da. So it was definitely really hard initially. And then I feel like over time, it's starting to get easier. And especially as I don't know, just feeling like I don't have to be confined to thinking a certain way, like trying to fit myself in a certain box, that just kills uniqueness. And like, I love being able to feel like I can be more me and be, and let that be whatever I want it to be. It doesn't have to be within the confinements of Mormon ideas and thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah. I feel like you explained this already, so I don't know if you have anything to add, but my next question was, what were your emotions when you came to the conclusion that it was not the true church? Did you have anything to kind of add along that line?
I would just say that I felt really betrayed. I felt really confused, and I felt really depressed for a long time. That was the worst. I don't think I've ever struggled with depression, but that was the worst depression I had ever faced, because you feel like you have all the purpose and truth and answers, and then all of a sudden, nope, it's all gone, and you're just like, does life even matter? Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Would not recommend.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. Yeah, that is just life altering on every level. So I can understand that's super painful. And I've had people reach out to me again too, and they'll just tell me, they're like, this is such a painful process for those of us who are in it, those of us who are realizing it. And I know it's convicting to me, because I have to realize that through all of my videos, if I don't have a heart of compassion and empathy and kindness and gentleness, understanding, all of that through these videos, it's something that's a challenge to me as well, because I understand that for so many, it's so difficult. And even, not only for yourself, but like you said, fear for the rest of your family that are still in something that you're now finding out to be false. So that, I can appreciate that so much.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, through the process of us getting to know each other, I feel like we've become friends, and I really feel your sincere compassion, and I love that. And I just think it's beautiful what you're trying to do in order to help people. And I really do feel like you really understanding, like, how scary that can be, and I appreciate that, because it means a lot. Because a lot of people, when we're going through this, a lot of people don't understand us, and they refuse to try. And it's really cool to have someone like you that really is trying, and it's so helpful.
Well, I'm glad. And honestly, I'm trying. I can't fully understand it. I never will. And so I don't ever want to like pretend like, oh, I get it, because I haven't been there. And, I'm respectful of that as well. And I've never been a Mormon. I know that's difficult for people. And I have this channel having never lived that life, having never had those beliefs. And so, that can be kind of hard on people. But my whole heart and purpose in having this channel is just it's pro-truth. Like, I want everyone to know the truth. And I'm like, you know what, if you hear everything I have to say and you still choose that to be your belief system in your life, then that is your God-given right. Like, we are all free to, you know, choose our life path. And it's like, so anyways, my point is just, I care that you all know, and so many Mormons unfortunately don't know the history. They don't know the facts, and really they need to, whether they stay in it or leave it.
Yes, absolutely. Very well said.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question, this is a fun one. I just feel like, what were there things that you absolutely loved about being Mormon, and then what about dislikes on the other hand?
Perfect. I definitely loved the community. You know, it just felt like wherever you went, there were Mormons there, and they got your back because you guys are like a brotherhood, you know? It's like, that felt awesome. Like, and it felt like really cool. I loved feeling special. Like, I loved feeling like being Mormon set me apart, and it kind of made me unique. I loved feeling uplifted from church, you know, services and activities. Yeah, you know, there was a lot I loved. I even loved going to the temple, like parts of it, like I said, like just getting to let everything go and go to this special God house.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was definitely a lot I loved. And I would say I loved being a part of a group where we all like had the same purpose, and we all had like the same goals, and we all were trying to help encourage each other. That all I loved.
Mm-hmm. What about the main things that stick in your mind as dislikes? You're like, I'm kind of happy to just not deal with that anymore.
I would say that my biggest dislikes would be the shame and the guilt and the judgment. I feel like I was always kind of shocked to see, you know, that we claim to be Christians and so loving, and yet so many of us are so judgmental. You know, that's how I felt at the time. Like, I felt like a lot of people in my wards and stuff were just super judgmental, and it frustrated me because I'm like, we're supposed to be like the highest of the high. We're supposed to be the best Christians out there, you know, like, and you guys are just getting sticks up your butts about nonsense. And so I feel like that was definitely the biggest dislikes, and the biggest reason that I'm grateful that I'm not a part of the church anymore is because I don't carry around so much of that shame and guilt for silly things like going to the store on a Sunday or drinking coffee or things like that, and just feeling grateful that I'm aware more of the truth, you know. And so yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll just add a little bit on my perspective, you know, as the Christian side of things. I can see how, had I been raised with so many rules and regulations and ordinances and, you know, things that you follow, things that you don't do, things that you have to wear, things that you can't eat, you know, so many different things, you know, even for men, the hair and the shaving and the white shirts only, and the, you know, all of that, it's very legalistic. And I think if you have, you know, beliefs and conservatism, I am all about it. Like, I love conservatism. That's how I live my life. But at the same time, I think when the legalism just totally takes over that, it's like, what are you doing and why? And if you don't have these convictions yourself and you're establishing them and then living them out, but really you're just obeying because someone else is telling you to do them, it's hard, because then and for some, I'm sure it's very genuine, but I feel like for others, it's kind of a breeding ground for like, you're just a rule follower because, and that's hard because, you know, that's not what humanity is all about. Like, I want to have my convictions because I have convictions over that, you know?
Yeah.
And not to say that, you know, through that, we can all just set our own morality. Like, as a Christian, you know, the Bible lays things out, and we you know, read it and accept it, and we develop convictions over those things as we personally read them and are taught them as well. But yeah, it's really interesting with Mormonism. Looking at it, I'm like, there are so many rules. And I think that is a big separation from, you know, evangelical Christianity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And you just drown in the guilt of all those little rules that sometimes it's really hard to just appreciate, like God or Jesus, you know? It's just difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, like I know when we went to the sacrament meeting, I noticed a handful of guys who had like dark colored shirts on, and I'm like, "Ooh, aren't they those guys are the rebels, right?" Because they're wearing dress pants, like a purple shirt and a tie, and all the rest of them have these like crisp white shirts, and that's the standard. And it's like you kind of look like, "Uh-oh," you know, like they're making a statement. Am I right in that? Because they're supposed to wear white, right?
Yeah, it's one of those like unspoken things, right? It's like some bishops will even say you're not allowed to pass the sacrament unless you wear a white shirt.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that it's like there's no scripture, there's no doctrine about it. Like it's
Okay.
just like it's just like it's just taboo, I guess. Maybe this is the word.
Yeah.
Same as girls wearing pants. Oh my gosh, I hate skirts. And I wanted to wear pants, but I felt like I never could because everyone would just like look at you so weird. And now I know Mormons will be out there and like, I wouldn't look at you weird. Okay, but a lot would.
Yeah. Oh man, I know. Well, unfortunately for you, I know you didn't do a mission, but now the sisters can wear pants on their missions.
Hallelujah. I mean, can you imagine trying to ride a bike in a skirt? Like,
No.
like that just sounds torture.
Yes, I know. And then in the winter and stuff, it's like, oh, I'm so thankful and happy for them that they can wear skirts. Like, woohoo!
They wear pants, but yeah,
Oh,
yes.
wear pants. Did I say skirts? Yeah.
Yeah. We knew what you meant. We knew what you meant.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, in your opinion, this is kind of a heavy one. Do you believe that the church uses behavioral control methods on the members?
I would say I I would say yes, but I don't think it's intentional. I think it's all born out of good intentioned ignorance. Because there's just a lot of guilting and shaming kind of around, like if you were to leave the church or if you were to not abide by some of the rules. And I feel like that's all very manipulative. I feel like but I feel like again it's all from leaders that are just ignorant, that they don't know any better way than to try to scare you away from stuff, right? um like especially topics like I know like with like pornography, for example, that's like a big deal. And um the church doesn't know how to handle it, right? Whether you think pornography is good or bad, there are great cases for why it's not good for you to watch, but the church doesn't use those. They use fear tactics to try to scare you away from it because they just don't know how to handle it. So I think that there is a lot of behavioral control, but I just think it's out of people just not knowing a better way.
Yeah. What about, and I know you can't speak for your husband and you didn't do a mission. One thing that comes to mind is while on your mission, there's like the missionaries handbook, which I've actually read through. It was really interesting. And even when we had elders coming to our home, they told me, they're like, well, we're not allowed to read anything outside of our accepted library of materials. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. It was really interesting. And then, of course, they have, the buddy system, and they have like, they're regulating everything that they do, and they encourage their partners to, like, hey, you never delete your history on the phone, and, like, never be alone unless you're going to the bathroom, and never take a cell phone into the bathroom. And like, there's just so much of that. I was like, wow. And I understand they're on their mission and everything, but those are the things that come to mind. Cause I know like day-to-day life, every family is individual. So what you're doing in your home is pretty private, kind of like Jack Mormons or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's your opinion on that? Like, do you feel as though it kind of fits under what you said, like kind of unintentional? It's not like they're trying to, really control their every move. It's just kind of how they know how to handle it, or what do you think?
Oh man. Yeah, no, I do think that's kind of the case. I think it's like if we draw the line 500 miles away from sin, then there's no way they'll get to actual sin, right? You can't even be alone in a room with a girl. You definitely can't have sex with her.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just absurd. And the example of the mission is probably about, I mean, it's definitely the worst kind of like, if you were to say like the church is a cult, like looking at missions is definitely like the one thing you could point at and be like, that's weird, because the rules are just so strict. And really these are people with good intentions who want to go out and they want to be convicted to God and they want to bring other people to God, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's the amount of rules is just ridiculous. I mean, it's to the point that like calling home is a sin. Like, I mean, they just changed that where you could call home once a week now. Yeah. But for a while, it was only twice a year, and calling outside of that was really frowned upon. Yeah. And I know when my husband even talked about on his mission, missionaries would brag like, oh, I don't even miss my family. What? Like, first of all, you're lying. Second of all, how is that noble? Like that you don't miss your family. And so, yeah, when it comes to missions, like it's very, very controlled, and they'll even tell them like, oh, you're going to get baptisms based on obedience and stuff like that. And that's terrible. Why would God hold the true church away from anyone who, like, you know, I woke up at 6:45, so 6:30, so now God is not going to reveal the truth to this other family. You know, stuff like that is just, it's just absurd to me. Definitely way too much control, and I think it's all out of good natured, like, well, you're devoting your time and you got to make it worth it, and if you're going to make it worth it, you better not be doing anything else.
Yeah, I hear you. And you kind of mentioned it a little bit. That was kind of the next question, is do you view Mormonism or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, do you view it as a cult?
It's such a controversial topic, you know. I remember even when I first left the church, I didn't like the term cult. I was like, it didn't feel good to me. I was like, no, these are good people trying to do good things. But a lot of cults are like that. So what I would say with that is that I would say that the definition of cult is vague, to the sense that like you could almost pin any religion as a cult. But I would say that generally speaking, when we talk about cults, we're talking about the more scary kind. And I would say that if we were to consider Mormonism a cult, it would be on the very low spectrum, as opposed to like Jehovah's Witness or Scientology or things like that. In my opinion, if it's a cult, in my opinion, it's a baby cult. Is that a fair answer?
Well, and yeah, exactly. And I think too, the offshoots and splinter groups like Warren Jeffs, for example, and like there are other groups in the polygamous groups, you know, in like the real remote parts of Utah and stuff, like that's a whole nother level of control, of living, of lifestyle. It's so, I mean, it's honestly, it's creepy and it's horrific. Like there's so many problems with that. So I definitely hear what you're saying, because I think, you know, Mormonism it presents itself so beautifully through the eternal families and like the amazing community and just all of that. So yeah, I hear you, definitely. And I think it's, as an outsider, sometimes it's easy to like throw that word around, but it does have such an awful, like negative meaning, and it is very insulting, and you know, so I can hear you. I feel like sometimes you can kind of say like it's cultish, you know, but
yeah it's hard because you don't want to put yourself up there and say like we're like the FLDS, because that's, do I believe Mormonism is damaging to people? Yes. Do I believe it's as damaging as, you know, FLDS or Scientology or Jehovah's Witness? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. Now that you're an ex-Mormon, are you happy?
I knew this question was coming. And yes, it's funny because you seriously are taught that no one has true happiness except the 0.0 whatever % of Mormons on the world. No one has true happiness other than Mormonism, because they have the true restored gospel. And I understand like the premise of that is that, I mean, if you have hope in God, I feel like you can be happier, like especially in circumstances when someone dies and you're like, oh, I'll see them again, you know, those kind of things are great. But yeah, you're taught that there's no happiness outside of the church. But I am very happy. And it's funny because I was talking to another ex-Mormon friend of mine recently, and she says, I cannot believe how much happier I am outside of the church than I am inside of the church. And I said to her, by your fruits ye shall know them. Or by their fruits ye shall know them. And it's just funny because it's just like makes you realize like, wow, like there's a whole big world out there, and it's not like God is punishing me because I don't think the church is true. And that used to be like a belief that I held. So I'm very happy. I'm so grateful. And I'm especially grateful to have my YouTube channel and get to connect with other ex-Mormons, because you know, we're all on the same path, trying to figure out who we are and trying to let go of the past. And it's a beautiful journey. It's a painful journey, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I love your channel. The first time I saw you pop up in my recommendations, I clicked on it right away and I listened, and then I was like, oh, I really like her. And so then I watched some other ones and I saw your husband, and I don't know, I was just really excited that we were able to meet, and now we're friends, and now you're on my channel.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel so honored. Thank you. This has been such a cool experience.
Yeah. Okay. We're not done yet. I have a couple more questions and then we're done.
Awesome.
Okay. So, I'll group these two together. I feel like we've touched on it a bit. Let's see. Are you still dealing with pain from leaving? And then along with that, how is your relationship with your LDS family and friends and that community?
Perfect. So I'm definitely still dealing with it. I'm still very fresh. I might be one of the more fresh YouTube channels, like not to diss on the others, but people don't usually like drop out of Mormonism and bump right into just telling the whole world, you know, but I just felt very compelled to share my story. Even before I called myself ex-Mormon, I started the channel because I wanted to put my thoughts out there, because I knew I wasn't the only one thinking those things, you know, and then it, you know, kind of led into what it is now. But so I'm still dealing with pain, with guilt, with shame. It's still hard feeling like my family doesn't understand me. So, tying in that answer, my family is much better than most Mormons. My immediate family, like my parents and siblings. Obviously, my dad is not Mormon, so he's chill with whatever. He's like, you do you, you know. But my parents, meaning like my mom and my stepdad, and then my siblings, they all just don't get me, and they're trying. They really are trying, and I really appreciate it, because it's much better than most Mormons. But they don't understand me, and they don't know how to deal with me, and I think sometimes they're kind of scared of me. Like I'm gonna somehow convince them that the church is not true and bring them down to my level of Satanhood. So it's hard. As far as my friends go, I have some of my friends and neighbors, they just don't they don't know how to really ask about it. Like my neighbors know that I'm not going to church, but I think they just think I'm busy or something, because I do travel a lot for work. So I think they're just like, oh, she's just busy, because they'll invite me to things, and sometimes I'll go and sometimes I won't. Like we like going to like the ward parties because food, and because we like our neighbors, you know. And like when in December when they had like Santa coming, I was like, oh, we're going to see Santa, like no question. And anyway, so there's some stuff we go to, and I feel like they just kind of I don't know, I feel like they probably just don't really know what to say to me, like, why aren't you coming to church, you know. They just try to invite me, and I don't know, I don't feel compelled to be like, did you know the church isn't true, because that's not helpful to anyone. So I just kind of ride it the way it is, and I just try to be really respectful and loving, because I've been there, you know. I know exactly what they're thinking and what they're feeling, and you know, and I feel like if that's where they want to be, that's fine too, you know. So it's difficult. It's something I'm learning to navigate, but I'm grateful that at least my family is trying to make an effort to talk to me and understand me, even when they are kind of scared of me.
Yeah. Do they know about your channel?
So kind of. So my immediate family, my mom and my siblings, they know of the channel, because I didn't want them to find it accidentally and be like, what the heck, be blindsided. So they know of it, but my mom like told me like, I'm not gonna watch it to protect our relationship. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't want to offend them. Like, this channel isn't to prove anything to them. I am worried about my extended family accidentally finding the channel somehow. Just gonna pray to the YouTube algorithm God that doesn't happen, because they would be very, very upset. So yeah, so that's where that's at.
Okay, I hear ya. I can, not family, that's a whole nother level, like, whew, that's a big one. But for me, my Mormon friends and neighbors, they're everywhere, and I hang out with them, and I have play dates, and I know these people, and I see them every single day, and I love them, so so far only one of my friends intentionally through social media, I knew she would see it, and so she's aware of my channel, and nobody else so far that I know of knows about it. And it is hard because I'm like, I want to be so real and genuine, and just like not have them like hear it from someone else or wonder like, oh, why would you have an anti-Mormon channel? Like, that's horrible. But it's like, but it's not anti-Mormon. Like, I love you guys. It's pro-truth. I always try to tell people that. So it's hard. I mean, I can only imagine for you. It's like another level.
Yeah, it is. I totally feel you. Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to bring this up without making you uncomfortable, but I also don't want you to just find it and feel like betrayed. Yeah.
It is.
How do you navigate that? I don't know.
I know. It's like, should we just mass print the CES letter and like have it mailed to their houses and be like, that's a good intro, right? Because they won't know it's from me. Like,
there you go. Just secret pro-truthing. Yeah.
Highlight some sections. Like, oh.
There you go.
It's tempting.
I know it is. It really is.
Oh, okay. So, kind of in closing, I had a couple of questions for you. I was wondering, do you still believe in God?
That's a good question. I will say that I was just talking to my husband about this yesterday, and I was explaining my frustration because I feel like I'm so hurt by the church that I am having a hard time in what I can believe, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I felt like I knew everything and now I feel like I know nothing. So I'm still praying. It's different than what it used to be, because I don't pray because I feel obligated. I only pray when I really want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still praying, and I'm still trying to figure it out, because I want God to be real. Like, I want someone up in the sky to like have my back, but I feel very freshly hurt by the church. So I find it difficult to trust, because I think I'm scared if I trust that God's there, I'm going to get hurt again. Like the Mormon church hurt me. You know what I mean? That's how it feels.
Absolutely. I totally understand that. I have people contacting me. I know some of you are watching. I love you. Who you are. They contact me all the time, and they're like, I'm so angry and I'm so hurt. And so many emails flow into my inbox daily, and they're like, how do I know I'm not going to get like duped again? You know what I mean? It's like, well, how do I even step foot into another church after having come out of the true church that now is not the true church? So it's like I walk into another one. Well, how do I know that their doctrine is biblical? And yeah, I totally respect that and understand that. And I don't want any soul on the planet to step out of one blind faith and into another, because we see that happen far too frequently, where people, they're like scarred by that, and then they dive into something else wholeheartedly because they're so desperate, for hope and community and like answers, but then they're not ready and they don't understand it. And so for me, it's like, you have to know why you believe what you believe. It's so important. So I can respect that wholeheartedly. I mean, I love that you're on a kind of continual quest for truth. And that's what I encourage, everyone to do. So.
Amen. Okay. Hallelujah.
Along those same lines, I wanted to ask you, what about the Bible? What do you feel about the Bible? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, generally I just kind of want to look more into it, because it's like I feel like the Mormon church taught me so much, and now it feels like I don't know what to believe. And I was like, we were kind of taught not really to trust the Bible fully. And so honestly, I kind of feel the desire maybe to look more into it, but I also feel like maybe I feel this desire to like take some space to breathe, and then I kind of want to start to kind of look into it, if that makes sense. That's where I'm at mentally.
Okay, so my final question is, what advice do you have for both currently active Latter-day Saint viewers, as well as those who are transitioning kind of out of the church? And yeah, like, what advice do you have for them?
Awesome. So for current active Mormons that are watching this, I would say that there's no need to worry because truth is truth, whether you hear it or not. I remember that my husband always told me, like, there's nothing you should ever try to hide from yourself, like anti-Mormon stuff or whatever, because truth is truth. And whether you know it or not, it's still truth. And if you think this church is truth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're not going to diss on you, like we really feel like, that the answer is different for us, and that's okay. For transitioning, this is such a hard time. I completely feel you. It really does get better. It is so hard, but so many good things are coming. More trust in yourself, more happiness, more opening your mind up to new opportunities and ideas, and really just setting yourself free to be you and to be unique. And it's a beautiful experience. So I know it's so hard and it's so scary, especially when you feel like maybe you're going to lose family relationships because of it. But just know that being true to yourself is more important than what anyone in the world could think of you. So that's what I got.
Yeah, it's so helpful. I love that you have a voice here on YouTube. I think it's so important to kind of like you said, you're the voice and the face of your channel, and yet so many people come alongside you and they like become your friends, and your subscribers, it's like your little YouTube family. And it's so special.
I know, and you know what the ones that comment a lot, you're like, oh, it's so and so, and you just like, you get so excited.
I know, I love that too. And I have seen an overlap of your subscribers and mine, which is so cool because we're all kind of in this little world together, talking through these topics and discussing them, working through them. It's just really fun. So I'm glad that we are now YouTube buddies. We're like sister YouTubers. Yeah. It's really cool. So I just feel like your voice, being out here just to support those who are dealing with it just like you, it's very meaningful. And my voice, having never been through it, it's just been so fun to kind of bring these issues to light and talk through them together. And YouTube's great. So, well, thank you so much for joining me on my channel, for agreeing to do this long interview and answer all these questions. I know it's personal and you opened up a lot of your life to us, which it's hard to do. And, you're putting this out public, and I definitely, and I can speak for so many others, we appreciate that. Thanks for sharing with us.
Of course, it was an honor. And yeah, it's always scary putting yourself out there for anyone, but at the same time, it's like I want to, because I know that when I was going through this is what I needed. I needed to hear other people's voices telling me I wasn't crazy, and you're not crazy. So it's all good. We got your back. Yeah. Morgan and Jessie rocking the Exmo world.
Oh yeah. I'm the no-mo, right? Is that our never-mo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's the no. Is it? I think they'll put N-O-mo. So yeah, no mo. Yeah, or
yeah.
N-E-mo. I don't know. I'm not very good at Reddit lingo. I'm not gonna try to be cool.
Yeah, I know. Me either. But regardless, yes, we are here for you. We're a little YouTube family, and we can continue to talk through these things. I can't wait. You will definitely see me and Morgan together in the future, because this was super awesome. I loved it. And thanks for watching, you guys. Oh, again, I want to say, jump over to Morgan's channel, My Spiritual Life. hit that subscribe button, follow her videos, follow her journey. And if you are new to my channel as well, hit my subscribe button. I'd love to see you back. We both cover LDS topics on our channels, and current stuff. I cover a lot of history, and it's just a great thing. So we would love to see you back.